everyone, my name is Tori, this is Nov Life, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another romance recommendations video. In today's video, I have some hockey romances to share with you. It is officially the start of hockey season. It's starting back up again. I'm seeing all the TikTok of all the hockey teams and what they're doing and how they're playing. Because it's winter, because it's December, I also felt like these were perfect recommendations for the time. So with all that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into the recommendations. And I will say you've probably heard me talk about some of these books already because I did enjoy them a lot. The first book I want to talk about is Shut Out by Avery Keelan. So this one I really loved. I read Offsides at the beginning of the year and I talked nonstop about that book. And now that Shut Out came out towards the end of the year, I won't stop talking about this book as well because I loved it. So this one's a little bit of a forbidden, kind of a secret romance, if you will say, because our female character, she goes to live with her brother, who is a hockey star. You see him in the first book, and come to find out that her and one of the other roommates that he has that's also on the hockey team, that her brother has on the hockey team and that rooms in the same house as them, is one of the guys that she had a one-night stand at a Halloween party. So when the new semester comes and she moves in, she's kind of taken by surprise that the guy that she had like a thing with was one of her roommates now. The only reason why she recognized him is because he had these tattoos, specifically one on his hand that's very unique, and because they were wearing masks, like they didn't know each other. But he also recognizes her because she has bright pink hair. So I have the guide cover. Avery Keelan just came out with illustrated covers, which I absolutely adore the illustrated covers, but I really love this because they kind of don't want to tell her brother that they had a thing because they're not really sure if they want to continue with a relationship because it was literally just a hookup and that was it. But the more they get to know each other, the more that she starts feeling things for him, the more that he starts feeling for her, and it's so sweet. It's a very much a kind of friends to lovers, like they're kind of like forced in this house together, but they learn things about each other. They start talking as friends, and I thought it was absolutely adorable. So this is a hockey romance I would definitely recommend. So our main male character, he plays college hockey, so he's also worried about trying to get drafted and all of that stuff, but I would highly recommend this book. If you haven't read it already, you don't have to read Offsides first, but I would definitely recommend this one. I thought it was good. I also love a tattoo hero, and he's tattooed, and I loved it. Another book I want to talk about is one that I recently talked about in a Books I'm Obsessed With video, and that is Ice Bet by S.J. Silvis. So I also read Weekside by S.J. Silvis earlier this year, and when this book came out towards the end of the year, I got an arc of this book, and I devoured it. Like, I wasn't expecting to devour it so much, because I haven't read hockey romances for a while, but then I read this book, and I was like, oh, this is why I love certain hockey romances. This one was so good because it is the coach's daughter. It's forbidden in that way too, but our main male character, he is the captain of the hockey team, and the coach goes to him and says, hey, my daughter is moving in across the hall from you. I need you to keep an eye out on her. She's had a rough year and she just needs like space, but he also doesn't want her to like go to parties and get in trouble. Now, this book does have some content warnings for previously mentioned eating disorder and talks of a previous assault. So that's very heavy in this book. What I also love is that they're healing. Our female character used to be she is a figure skater, but she hasn't been able to get on the ice since she had a fall and hit her head during a competition. That stems from her eating disorder, so that's kind of how it's talked about in that way. And our main male character, while he's trying to like watch over her, it's like borderline stalking because he's watching over her. And she figures out that he's doing that. And he kind of helps her get back on the ice and like, push her out of her comfort zone to get her back on the ice. And I personally loved it. I love the healing journey that they go on. I love that he's there for her. The whole ice bet situation comes about because the whole team has this ice bet. Whoever can, bang the coach's daughter first wins. Of course, he's not participating in that, but she hears the whole team talking about it because she's in her dad's office while they're talking about it. So they're not very like slick in that way, but I really did enjoy this read. It was so good. This is more kind of like enemies to lovers, while Weekside is more friends to lovers, but I still enjoyed it and I would recommend it. Another one I want to talk about really quickly is The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. Everyone was waiting for this book to come out. It is the next generation from the Off-Campus and Briar U series. So in this book, we follow Gigi Graham, which is Garrett Graham's daughter, and it was really cool to see Garrett Graham as a dad. And while I enjoyed this book because she was a female hockey player, which I don't think I've ever read a romance book with a female hockey player, I really liked it because he also was a hockey player. So they played for their college, but opposite teams. Females don't really join males. I like this because you see them when they're younger. He is going to this like skating, like not tournament, but like just like a practice kind of time with Garrett Graham. But the female character, Gigi, is there. He thinks she's just an ice skater that's taking up ice time. little does he know that that is actually Garrett Graham's daughter, and she is one of the people that's going to help teach them. So that's when they're younger, and now that they're grown up, he's kind of like kept her at arm's length. But I thought it was super cute. I thought it was a good read. It's not my highest rated book on this list, but I still would recommend it if you're looking for a hockey romance that's really sweet, really cute. This one also takes place obviously during college, so they play college hockey, but I did like it and I would recommend this one. Another one I have is Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. This was actually my first Stephanie Archer book. I read it for a new author reading vlog. I really enjoyed this. So our female character is the assistant to our main male character, who's actually the goalie. So our main male character in this book plays professional hockey, so it's not college hockey, but I really like it when books have like that healing together aspect, and this book had it in a way that our female character is kind of trying to heal from a past ex that really put her down. She's never pursued music professionally since she broke up with her ex, because her ex was a professional artist and like really put her down and said like, your music isn't worth anything. And when the first time he hears her play as his assistant, because she's just trying to like get these like random jobs to like get money basically, he's like, what are you doing being my assistant? Like, you need to be a professional singer and songwriter and artist. And she's like, no, like, what are you talking about? So that is a huge part of this book, and I think that's why I loved it so much. I really love Stephanie Archer's writing. I'm very excited for the next book to come out. I don't know when the date is, but I have seen the cover go around. I will definitely be picking that up. But if you're looking for a professional hockey book, definitely pick up this one. I really loved it. I'm a fan of Stephanie Archer's writing. She's a new author that I discovered this year. Pick up this one if you haven't already. The next book I want to talk about is The Puck Secret by G.N. Knight. This is another college hockey romance, but I like it because it's enemies to lovers, where our characters really hate each other. But there is this secret that they are texting each other, but they actually don't know who they are. So in real life, they know each other and they hate each other. But she accidentally texts him. She mixes up the numbers with her best friend, and she texts him something extremely personal. And he's like, what the heck is happening? So he continues texting. They never show their face. They never say names, but they continue knowing each other that way. Now, the whole reason why they hate each other in real life is because her dad is the governor and had an affair with his mom and basically shunned her from being like in their town. So he obviously feels a certain way. She does not agree with her dad and what happened, but you know, there's nothing you can do with it. It's kind of like him blaming her because, you know, that's her father. So he has to kind of like reconcile, once he figures out who she is, kind of reconcile the hate that he had for her, but also how he feels about her now. I really loved this book. I thought it was a fantastic read. Just because I hadn't read anything like that before, with the whole like mistaken identity type thing, or not knowing who you're texting, I really enjoyed it. So I would highly recommend that one. That's another new author I discovered this year that I really like their writing. A lot of these are new authors. The next book I have to talk about is In Your Wildest Dreams by Rebecca Genchak. So I read this series actually with my patrons when the first 3 books in the series were out, and it was really fun to talk to them about each book, because each book follows a different professional hockey player on the team, and this book, In Your Wildest Dreams, is the 4th book in the series, and I really liked it. So I absolutely love this book. So it kind of opens up where you see our female character. She's in the stands at the first hockey game of the season, and our main male character, Ash, is someone who's like a playboy in the team, and he goes up to random people while they're warming up, like signing things and stuff like that. So he sees her in the crowd and literally like points her out and was like, I want you to have this puck. And she's like, I think I'm okay. And he's like, no, I'll write my number on it. And basically he turns her down, but he, from that moment, has become obsessed with her. So he actually finds out who she is, because he never got her name, when he injures his shoulder, and she is his nurse at night. So that's kind of like their second meet cute, and she's trying to like stay away from him, like, oh my God, he is this major hockey player, like I don't need to get involved with him, but he's so handsome and I'm too busy. I'm going to school during the day. I'm a nurse at night. I really enjoyed this because it was like pining to the max, but he pined in a way that he wasn't like pushing her. He was like, I'm always going to be here. Like, you're rooming with one of my teammates' sisters. Like, you're doing your thing in college, but I'm always going to be here if you ever want to do anything. So they start this like kind of casual relationship that obviously leads to more. And I loved their romance. I loved that they like worked together as a team. There was no third act breakup. There was nothing like that. I really loved how they like, once they got together, they knew they had something special. And they kind of just like rolled with the punches. It was a great book. It came out on December 7th, so you can now go pick it up if you haven't. You can definitely read them out of order, and you don't have to read them in order, even though this is the 4th book in a series. I would highly recommend this one. Another book, and the last recommendation I would highly recommend on this list, is Unstudied by Peyton Koren. This is Peyton Corinne's debut book. It's a hockey romance. They're in college. And when I tell you this book made me cry, it really did. This is one of my favorite books of the year. It hit me for some reason on this like other level. I don't know what it was, but when I started reading this book, I could not stop reading it. I even went so far to message the author just to tell them how much this book meant. So this book has a lot of mental health representation and a lot of talk about panic attacks. And basically this book opens up with the prologue. You see our main male character, Reese. He is in a hockey accident, like they're playing and he gets hit and he hits the side of like the plexiglass wrong and he goes down. Basically, he has a really bad concussion for at that moment, he goes blind. Like he can't see anything, it's all black. So he's screaming and screaming and screaming like, I can't see anything, I can't breathe because his chest, like he got hit and fell to the ice and it like kind of knocked the wind out of him. His hearing is all messed up and all this stuff like that. And all he hears is his dad screaming, who his dad was actually an NHL hockey star. And his name is still out there, like he's still a big name. So he has a lot to live up to. But while he's like, can't see anything, all he hears is like his dad screaming, that's my son, I need to help him. And then it flips to a couple months later where he's healed, but he has major panic attacks when he gets on the ice. Major panic attacks to where he just like punches over in a ball. And that's how our female character meets him for the first time. She is a figure skater trying to balance home life. She's taking care of her two brothers because her dad is like an alcoholic, not really there. Their mom's not really there. So she's trying to work, full time to make sure that they have everything they need. Her two brothers are also in hockey. One is like 5 and one is 12. So she's 22, I think, 21 or 22. So she meets this boy and she's like, I don't really need a lot of this stuff. But like her being her, she can't just leave him. So she slowly helps him get back on the ice in a way that like he just finds comfort in her. And he kind of like, points out in his point of view that like, oh, I'm using her basically to get better. But when he starts falling in love with her and starts falling for her and really pining after her, he's in a different place in his life. So he has to separate like him using her to like get better, as in like getting back on the ice. But also he starts recognizing some things with her that like, oh, she's the one taking care of her brothers. Like her father isn't like, her father isn't there like he's supposed to be. She is these two kids' parents. So he gets like the team involved and he gets like his parents involved. His parents are absolutely amazing. If you like Binding and Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh, you are going to love this book. I'm gonna tell you that. That's immediately the vibes I got. And I just thought it was such a beautiful book. I want everyone to read it. Like this is my new, like I'm obsessed and I can't stop talking about this book. So that is my last recommendation for this video. I need everyone to go read all of these, but specifically Unstudied. I've just been obsessed. I just need everyone. I've been telling all my friends, like, I need you to read this book because I want everyone to read this book. But that is all the hockey romance recommendations I have to share with you. Drop me a hockey puck, hockey stick, black heart emoji in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content from me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.